So I'm going to try and get a shot of Tammy's tea rooms, which is where I had stopped for lunch. So actually I think how much you can see it's probably quite an ancient building. It's a shame it's sort of spoilt by the a bit by the windows, but it looks clinker built at the top there. Is that a, oh, that's a, what kind of roof that is? Is that a mansard roof? I'm not sure. But really echoes of Magwitch, David Copperfield. We may to a degree be in Canvey Island's entertainment district, because there is the Corner Club, official home of Monkey's Wedding Cruises. Now I wanted to use the toilet, but their toilet was being painted at Tammy's, so they directed me over the road, what she called the pub, to this place. And I just think this is the most amazing looking. This is the Canvey Club, which is the most incredible looking gaff I've seen in many a long year. And obviously we can't cycle into the middle of it, but if you go through, it's quite old doors and stuff, and it's a very, very dark, completely windowless interior, in which people are sitting drinking. And it's also, kind of carrying on with that kind of delta kind of, you can imagine that a place like that in, Mississippi. Imagine, John Lee Hooker or Robert Johnson playing there. Remarkable. Anyway, it was also very nice. I had the pork and applesauce and stuffing. Obviously not a special for the Orthodox, but they did actually do salt beef, but I guess it's not. I guess Tammy's is not really kosher. I wonder whether, in fact, now since there's an influx of Orthodox Jews, whether they've established any dining places, because I love that. I mean, I was brought up on that stodgy kind of Ashkenazi food, the matzos and knedlach and all that. And so if there's a Russian tea rooms anywhere on Canvey Island, that'd be interesting to come upon. It's still, I must say though, I suppose the roads are so narrow that it's not a particularly pleasant cycling experience. But that's another kind of delta thing, isn't it? That the power lines are strung across the road, which you very rarely see in Britain. But that adds a kind of Mississippi Delta vibe as well. Sainsbury's, less so. I think this is the town centre, which is basically a Sainsbury's. 136.9 for diesel, which isn't bad. I think at the moment 136.9 for diesel. I think it's not as cheap as you can get in some big supermarkets, but it's not. It's okay. There's a sort of shopping centre as well. They've got a Costa. At first, with the kind of whole Delta thing as well, because Talal's rejoined me after buying an inner tube. I thought Tammy's was called Jammies originally, so I was saying, I'll meet you at Jammies. Visions of some sort of blues shack, but it was, in fact, Tammy's. And they're ever so nice, and they call you babe or babes. I am going to attempt to. BMW is not. Oh yeah, he's let me out. Oi. Over. Okay, right. Oh, this, yeah. Butchers, nice looking butchers. Ugh. Quite nice looking Turkish place, I think there, Izzy. I think that's where we went last time I was here. Poundland. There's a convoy, that might be the same convoy of mobility scooters. Not seeing the Ashkenazi restaurant here, but I've had my lunch sober. I could buy some apple strudel or something. There's a hotel there. I imagine occasionally you see kind of plain square buildings which were probably at one time what they called sun trap, but they would have had those crystal metal windows. They got international modernist style, but most of generally those buildings, because that period is so disregarded, particularly in a working class area like this, was just being replaced with ugly double glazing. We're looking for we're going to go on a bit of a path now. Aren't we all on a path? This is a bit more. It's a bit gravelly, we'll see. I'll give it a go. I'll be brave. Looks a bit. See, I walk it. Yeah. Oh, it's thrills and spills, isn't it, today? Boat with slate in it and plants. Yeah, I'll give it a go. Yeah, as long as you're going straight, it's not too bad. It's, you know, it's changes in gradation.
The idea is to go all the way up to that bridge, and then the station's up over the bridge.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I would have gone over there.
No.
So this is a kind of marshy creek. What's this?
You can see over the wall as well.
You can see over the wall.
This
is, you see. That's a game I think.
It's rolling.
When I'm anywhere.
Is this terrain open?
Yeah, I would like this terrain, so, you know. But I also think, like I was saying before, would that be that place where the skips were? Would that be where I trained? We haven't seen a dojo yet, have we? Oh, there must be one here somewhere.
Dojo?
Yeah, don't you think there'd be martial arts on Canvey Island?
Of course.
I'd be amazed if there weren't. You can see the
I think that
you can see the cranes. That is Tilbury, isn't it? The cranes
over there.
over there, yeah.
I think the working men's club doubled as a dojo.
But also, I often, when I'm somewhere, I always think, you know, if I lived here, you know, would he be my friend? Would that woman before be my friend? Would I live in that house with the balcony there? Would I drive that little red Fiat 500 with the white stripe? Would that be me? Would this be my life? Who can say? But these are the things. These are the things I think.
That's Hadley Ray.
Hadley Ray.
On your right.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm going to see if we can cycle this. Bye, mate. See you later. My front tyre's holding up very well because it's really needs replacing. I'm not saying anything because I'm letting you wallow in the beauty. It's very nice. There's somebody on a bike coming the other way. Another daredevil, like myself. He's a determined looking man. He's giving it some. Late for synagogue, perhaps. People in Tammy's are ever so nice. I left them because I paid with cash actually because their Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I gave them. And it's not bigging myself up, but I gave them the £11 bill. Oh, no, a bit more maybe. I gave them £2. I thought because it's partly sort of balancing the universe. Because one of the things I've found is that I think you tip a lot less, don't you? Because you just tap your card these days, and then you often, unless a service charge is built in, you forget. You know, you just forget to add a tip. Really, whereas before you would have left 10, 15%, left a pound coin, £2 coin, whatever. So it's a bit like, so when I do tip, when I remember to tip either electronically or using cash, which is very rare, I tend to over tip because it's a bit like, they say that thing like in football, the bad refereeing decisions kind of even out over the course of the season. Or similarly, maybe the lack of tipping, if everybody over tips, then the failure to tip will sort of even out somehow. I don't know, it's just a theory. It's also, recognition of tough times that people in the service industries have been through. I suppose if I lived in Canvey Island, I might buy Tammy's tea room, restore the windows to their original 18th century pristine nature, and then I'd do a comedy night at the Canvey Club over the road there, and people, because without blowing my own trumpet, I hold a bit of sway in the comedy scene. I could get major acts to come down and perform, try out material. I could probably, do it with maybe with people who I could probably put on several nights with comedians who I'd insulted, and they'd have to do it to show there was no hard feelings. Michael McIntyre, Frank Skinner, David Williams, David Baddiel. They'd have to. That'd be a thing, wouldn't it? And the last train from Benfleet to London, it'd be like, there was this rumour, that Watford Gap services, that in the 60s and the 70s, because all the bands had stopped there and played there, that you could go, and if you went to Watford Gap services at 2 in the morning, the Stones would be there jamming with Bob Dylan and, the Supremes, Joni Mitchell. Would be making gravy and giving the woman behind the counter the evening off. You go, blimey, sausage, egg and chips, please. You go, blimey, that's Joan Baez. Anyway, the last train, I think, back from, if I was doing my comedy night at the Canvey Club, then, it'd be a notable comedy, and it'd be all riffing. There'd be comedians riffing on the train and drinking champagne. They might have a dining car. The last train from Shoebury Nest to Fenchurch Street might put on a dining car, and I get musicians to play as well. Left-wing music, Stormzy would probably come down since we're both left-wing. Stormzy, low-key, obviously he'd do it. Dr. Robert, the Blow Monkeys, he's a friend of mine. And also, superstar DJs, because my friend's son is like a really big DJ, and I'll get him to come down, play. That'd be. Which brings me also, because he's brings me to. I sort of had some vague when I did commentary on ITV's Tour de France because of these bike rides. There was a flurry of interest from documentary companies or travel documentary makers about me doing, because apparently it's very hot. Travel celebrities big at the moment. I don't know whether that will outlast lockdown, but nevertheless. So I was like pitching this. There's some meetings with people about doing a TV version of this, and then fucking Siobhan McSweeney of Derry Girls. She's doing a documentary which she travels around Northern Ireland on a e-bike called Thunderclap, and she rides for a bit and talks about the scenery, and then she interviews as a shepherd, or I don't know. Is that too? If I said she learns to make an explosive device, is that like too old-fashioned and insulting? Probably. I like Siobhan McSweeney. I think she's great in Derry Girls, and I might say that Saoirse Monica Jackson, Saoirse Monica Jackson is to a degree a friend of mine. But Siobhan McSweeney's pulled the cycling travel, celebrity cycling travel documentary. She's pulled that rug completely out from under me, and all the documentary makers, production companies all stopped retaining my calls. It might also be true because I wanted to. I said, well, I'm really not interested in, interviewing shepherds or learning to. It's a big dog. Learning to, dance the tango. I want it to just be a bleak kind of dystopian single camera, psychogeography, interzone, aping the work of. Particularly, there's a very interesting. I think he's still alive. There's a filmmaker called Patrick Keeler who did two amazing films. One's called London, and the second one's called Robinson in Space, which you get a chance to watch. Which are they're sort of like the kind of 1980s version of this bike ride, really. Kind of locked off camera and then a voiceover. These really bleak kind of warehouses and road junctions and stuff. I think they're particularly beautiful films, and that's a kind of a psychogeography kind of thing. Obviously, Ian Sinclair, the books of Ian Sinclair. So that's what I wanted to make, and funnily enough, Channel 5 weren't that interested. A bleak Marxian dystopian view of the backs of shopping malls and the rivers, culverted rivers that run underneath motorway junctions. They turned their nose up at it. They were like, they said, we want Siobhan McSweeney talking to a shepherd. That's what we're after. I do like Derry Girls, though. It's good. Well, this is great. I really like this. I think this does also bring us out by the station. So that would be. I don't know whether I'd cycle to the station. I suppose I might get an e-bike if I lived, because I'd obviously have to come into London for meetings with production companies who were really not very keen to make my programs once they met me. I'd cycle probably to Benfleet Station and get a train into London, into Fenchurch Street. It used to be, it was really interesting. I mean, still is a sort of really interesting station, Fenchurch Street, kind of fretwork portico, but it's surrounded by increasingly banal modern buildings. But you know, I'd get into Fancy Head Street. Car would be waiting to take me to Soho House, where I'd have a meeting with a commissioner from quite a large production company who would listen to my ideas, tell me you'd get back to me, and that would last with you. And oh, this looks, I don't know, I'm in a low gear, so let's go for it, see if we can, nearly made it. So we by the station then, quite near the station.
That's the boat graveyard I showed you.
All
See
right.
all those dead boats?
Well, that was great view.
That's the bridge, then left, and there's the train. You see the train pulling out from the station?
Oh yeah,
That's where
how romantic.
looks like we made it.
All right.
Look at all these boats.
Yeah, boats. Getting
You
a
own a
shot of.
boat?
I don't own a boat now, but what I might do if I lived in Canvey Island, I might get a boat. I mean, it is when you see, you know, Britain from the sea. It's a very different perspective. I'd like to sort of have a boat, but I'd engage in banter like that. What did somebody say? I think it was Simon Le Bon, wasn't it, of Duran Duran, who had a boat for a while, and he said it was like standing in a shower tearing up £20 notes. Boating. Maybe I'd do something like sea kayaking. I could see. Oh, Mercedes is letting me out. Oh, it's just Mini. What nice people. Thank you. Oh, it's kind, isn't it? Just missed the train. So this is, I think we're crossing off the island now. I think this ridge is the limit of Canvey Island. I think it's not been what I expected. Now we're in South Benfleet now, a historical settlement. Well, I think it's an historical settlement. Apart from that, there's a station. Oh, here we are at a station. It's not been what I expected. I expect to give you more views of mud flats and oil refineries. Not quite as many either mobility scooters or Orthodox Jews as I imagined, really. But we've seen a few of both. And that's it. Here we are, back in South Benfleet. Once again, pushing the possibilities of the internet.
That's the wrap on Alexei.
Where's Alexei now? He's in Benfleet, Essex. Why is he there? He's doing one of his cycling podcasts. How can I pay money to make sure that he keeps doing it and doesn't become disheartened? Go to patreon.com/Alexei Sayle Podcasts and donate. That's patreon.com/Alexei Sayle Podcast. Podcast.